Hey, what's up, peeps? What do you think of the new studio? I think it's awesome. So I've been asked a lot about my videos and whether I use a slider or whether I use a gimbal or a tripod to do some of the smooth panning and tilting shots. And the honest answer is I don't. I do have a gimbal, but I really don't use it that much. And that's because I like to do run and gun type videography, and so it's kind of a pain to set up a gimbal or other types of equipment to get your shots. You really want to be able to grab the camera really quick if anything cool happens and get the shot. And you're not going to be able to do that with a gimbal or a slider or any other big type of piece of equipment. So, in this video, we're going to talk about 6 techniques to having gimbal arms. So let's get to it! Alright, number 1. This first technique, you're going to actually use your body to stabilize your camera in panning and tilting motions. So what you're going to want to do is grip your camera on the camera grip with your right hand and hold the lens with your left hand. Then you're going to want to pull them down all the way until your elbows hit your beer gut. Squeeze slightly with your elbows and use your body to pan left or pan right, pan up or down by kneeling down and standing up to get super smooth panning motions with just your body. If you get good at it, you can do both at once for a diagonal pan motion. Make sure you plant your feet good when you're doing this and just practice a lot, and you'll get really good at it and it'll look like you have a slider when you don't. Alright, technique number 2 is called the ninja walk. With this technique, you can pan forward towards an object while holding your camera still. What you want to do is crouch like a ninja. Point your camera and lock your elbows. Next, start stepping forward heel to toe like you're sneaking up on somebody, like a ninja, and do it as smoothly as possible. One thing that I like to do is imagine that I have a cup of water on top of my head that I can't spill as I'm doing the ninja walk. Alright, technique number 3. This technique can be used to hold your camera extremely still even when shooting at a longer focal length. So you want to go ahead and get down on one knee, put one hand on the camera grip and the other underneath the camera to support it. Then you're going to rest your elbow on your knee and start shooting crazy stabilized footage. You could do this for a panning motion, which is pretty easy, and if you're good with your wrists, you can actually tilt as you pan as well, and that makes for some really cool video. This is the technique that I use the most when I filmed the car cruising video. If you want to see that video, click the link right here. Alright, tip number 4. This is one of the more common ways to stabilize footage, and that's to shoot at 60 frames per second. If you shoot at 60 frames per second, you could go back in at post and slow that footage down to 40% of its original speed to get you to 24 frames per second, which should be your target. By doing this, it has the effect of stabilizing your videos and making them look much smoother, and I think it makes B-roll look a lot better too. Okay, so tip number 5 is pretty basic, but it's something that I felt that should have been included in this video because it's all about stabilizing your footage. And that's using the image stabilization in your lens, if you have it, using the image stabilization in your camera, if you have it. Be careful with electronic image stabilization in the camera. Don't turn that all the way up, or it'll make your video look really spongy. Just leave that right at the standard level, or maybe even a notch below. But if you have true in-camera image stabilization that's mechanical, and especially if it works in conjunction with image stabilization in your lens, by all means use that, because that will work with these other techniques to make very smooth footage. And so let's say you don't have image stabilization in your camera or in your lens. Then what you want to do is go ahead and use the image stabilization that is in your editing software. I use Adobe Premiere Pro, and that image stabilization is called Warp Stabilizer. If you don't use Adobe Premiere Pro, that's alright, because you're going to find plenty of editing programs that have some type of stabilization process for your footage. Tip number 6 is easy. Just use a shorter focal length. If you use a long focal length, it has a tendency to just make your videos shake a lot because it's zoomed in, and so it magnifies every shake that you have with your hands. So pull in your focal length. 24 millimeters is what I'm shooting at right now. Anywhere around that is a great focal length if you want to have some steady footage. So if you put these 6 steps together, people are going to be asking whether you have gimbal arms, because your footage is going to be super shaky. Stable. I'm going to make more tutorials like this because I had so much fun making this video. So if you dig this video, subscribe to see more like it. And you might be interested in this video about shooting profiles or this video about shooting stars. Filming stars. Alright, that's it for me today. I'll see you in the next video.